We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated, secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
What if I told you life isn't about avoiding our problems, but actually about becoming a master problem solver? We can find strength and growth every time we overcome a new obstacle. I want to explore with you building resistance and how to navigate the tough times with strength and being ready for it and seeing every challenge as an opportunity, not a setback. This is something that my mom taught me since I was very young, and it carried with me through every work environment I was ever in. And there were a few times where there would be a massive shift or change in the organization. And obviously, anytime a company does something, it's not just at the whim. There is thought and intention around it to make sure that the company is safe. And while some people might think, oh, that's not thinking about your people, we do also need the company to be running and operational for our people to have a place to work. And so, with that mindset shift, and also thinking, how can I use this changing and challenging time to rise to the top, to show what I'm made of, to create something amazing and help be a part of the innovation and growth and evolution of what we're doing to make things better versus thinking we're a victim just at the mercy of company changes or organizational changes that we can't do anything about. So, having that mindset has helped immensely for me. And it makes it really easy to go into action and start creating results during a time where if we just sat in the victim mindset, we wouldn't be doing anything. We would just be spinning out and getting nothing done. Many years later, I was working with entrepreneurs, and when the 2020 pandemic hit, a good chunk of our revenue went out the window because we couldn't go do physical in person speeches anymore. And there were things that couldn't happen. And so instead of sitting in overwhelm and indecision, we went straight into action and built a whole new area of the business that was still part of our goals, but a few years out. We just started working on it right away and immediately pivoted and were really successful in doing so. The difference between a resilient person and a non resilient person is literally the difference of success and failure. When we don't continue, when we don't keep trying and keep showing up and doing the thing, the paddling of our boat stops and the current takes us backwards. We're going to talk about understanding resilience itself, how to develop those skills for us and in our own life, and then embracing it as a mindset because it's not something that we just do once. It's not something that we do occasionally. It is a mindset, it is a lifestyle, it is a way of being. Resiliency is our ability to bounce back from challenges, our ability to change, to evolve, to pivot and turn around when one path isn't working. It's the ability to thrive and rise to the top when things are difficult. Resilient professionals have emotional strength, adaptability, flexibility, perseverance, optimism, excitement for the future. I've been knocked off my feet a few times in my life, and every time I get up and I keep going and I never give up on myself because I know that no matter what happens, I can figure it out. And that's one of the most important things I ever want you to hear from me is that no matter what happens, no matter what you've done, what anyone else has done to you, no matter where you've been, no matter who you've been, no matter what you've said, heard, smelled, experienced, it doesn't matter how bad it ever gets. It doesn't matter how bad you think it was. It doesn't matter how low you think you've sunk. There is an option. You are in charge. You can always turn it around and keep going. Let's look at how we can actually apply this to our life. How can we actually develop resiliency skills in ourselves? There's so much here. There's so much to unpack and look at as far as what we can do and what we can uncover within ourselves. But it all starts, as always, with self awareness. We have to understand what's happening within us and how we're currently handling our challenges in order to figure out how to change. And a lot of times, emotional regulation is something that we need to learn if we haven't learned it, practice if we've learned it and we're practicing it, or really master and hone in if it's something that we've applied and practiced, but we're ready for that next level of really mastering our emotions and being like 10 steps ahead of ourselves. And there are so many ways we can emotionally regulate when we notice we're getting out of sorts and no longer feeling like ourselves in times of stress or when challenges come up. But we can slow down and breathe, rub our hands together, feel the palm of our hands, continue to breathe and feeling the air come in and out of our nose. We can stomp our feet on the ground, clap our hands, eat a lemon, put an ice cube on our forehead, and come back into our body. Come back to your center, to who you are, and what you know is true. We all have different coping mechanisms that help the most for us. Not everybody will be the same. But no matter what they are for you, figure them out. Start testing them. Start figuring out what works for you, because that will ultimately help us navigate any challenges that come our way effectively and so much more peacefully. And don't try to do it alone. Strong relationships and community for our own emotional support, on top of regulating ourselves and being there for ourselves, helps us stay encouraged along the way, especially when things get difficult. And if we're faced with something that we really need to think through or make a decision on, we can take time with ourselves to really problem solve and brainstorm and think through what we need to do before making a decision. You never have to just jump in and commit and make a change. When something big happens in your life, you don't need to take immediate action. You are allowed to slow down and think. When we can face and approach every problem, challenge, difficulty, or unsettling change in our life with a solution focused brain, we are going to get to the other side faster. We're going to feel better about it. And we're going to have so much more time for ourselves along the way, because it's not always going to be easy. And it takes time to really turn this into a mindset, to really take on the essence and live from this place of overcoming, problem solving, resiliency. But we can do it little by little, small changes at a time, one day at a time, one scenario at a time. We can reframe the challenges to opportunities for our own growth and learning, and go back to the question, what am I learning here? How am I evolving? What am I getting out of this? Ask yourself, what is the good? And what is my next best step that I can take right now to move forward in some way, shape, or form? The more we do this, the more little steps we take and the more progress we make, the stronger we grow, the stronger we get inside, and the more that resilience muscle grows bigger and bigger. And it doesn't matter what you face, eventually you see a problem coming and you are ready. You know exactly what you need to do to move forward. This also helps us practice gratitude, because looking at opportunities as something to be thankful for that we can grow from and learn from and maybe even change our life into a way that's even better. When we get to create that next step, that next chapter, or the next picture, we can build something beautiful, and to be thankful for that is huge. It makes the journey along the way so much more joyful and fun, which is something a lot of us can forget to do, is actually slow down and have fun with the journey. A lot of times when change happens, it's paired with many other things. We're now experiencing stress or feel of failure or lack of certainty, and we suddenly don't know what's going on. And when that happens and when things kind of pile on and they feel overwhelming, it can be a lot harder to stay in control. So remembering to always come back and watch for the triggers, watch for the things that you notice, okay, I'm disconnecting from myself and who I am and what I believe in. Those are the moments, those are the cues. And this is one of the hardest things to ever learn and master in life. I have worked on this for years. I've come a long way, and yet there's still times I have to go back and work on this. Understanding your own cues for the disconnection from yourself can help you mitigate some of your own emotional wake or damage that you're going to leave behind. But it can also help send you into action, meaningful, intentional, planned action so much quicker. So often we make difficult things worse through our own thoughts and minds, through spinning out or worrying or fretting and just wasting time ruminating and growing the problem and talking about the problem and further dysregulating ourselves than actually going and fixing the problem itself. Whereas if we went straight to the action and solution, it could have been solved much quicker and it could have become a much smaller issue. I remember in the last years of my grandpa Denny's life, he had this Hoyer lift. And even in that limitation where anyone in that situation might think, I don't have any options, I'm helpless, I can't do anything. He would sit there and figure out how to better use the Hoyer strap, how to maximize his experience and make it better, even until the end. This is one of the main people in my life that I attribute my ability for grit and resilience and never giving up to. He was a man with grit, resourcefulness, creativity, and determination. He left behind a legacy of hard work, enjoying the simple things in life, and having a positive attitude, loving deeply, and never giving up. And for that, I thank you, Grandpa. He was an incredible man, and I want to share, just as a special tribute to him, the message I read aloud to him on the day of his funeral. Dear Grandpa, I miss you already. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that you're gone. You lived a long, inspiring, and adventurous life, and yet you were still taken from us far too soon. You always were and always will be one of my heroes. Nothing could ever knock you down, at least not for long. You were a strong man of grit, resourcefulness, creativity, and determination. I adored your attitude, loving smile, sense of humor, caring heart, intelligence, and attention to detail. You overcame so much, never gave up, and always enjoyed your life. We shared a love for desserts, especially chocolate cake, the journey of sobriety, deep belly laughter, and your amazing stories of surviving massive snowstorms and how you scaled the sides of giant ships. You taught me that a lemon drop candy can fix anything and to work hard with what you have, be resourceful, and always enjoy the moment. You will be always missed and will forever have a special place in my heart. I love you, Grandpa. See you on the other side for a good old Western movie and a cup of coffee. You'll always be one of the greatest loves of my life. With love, a heavy heart, and gratitude, your loving granddaughter, Lindsay. He was a great source of inspiration for me, and I would be doing a disservice if I didn't share a little bit about him here when we talk about our own resilience and how we apply that to our life, because he really did lead the path before us. And as we look at our long-term goals, we really can't get there without resilience. My grandpa did incredible things. He built his entire house with his own hands for only $12,000 and lived in that house for the rest of his life. He turned a small pond with a little dam into an entire lake. By figuring out how the beavers were creating dams to create more water, he created more man made dams and created an entire lake himself that our family then lived on for years. We cannot create the things we want to create in the long term without having our own resilience and readiness for problem solving within us. We talked about what it means to be resilient, to cultivate that within ourselves and our own skills that we can embrace and grow upon. And embracing it as a mindset, as a lifestyle, as who we want to become. So start reflecting on your own life and your own skills and where you're going to continue to work to become more resilient and move forward with a problem-solving mindset. Let's continue to embrace our challenges as opportunities for our own growth and transformation. This can truly become your guiding force within you to navigate your journey with strength every step of the way. Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world, and as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.